Solving Maynard's Puzzle, Part 1. Welcome. Before I begin attempting to break down this incredibly complex puzzle, allow me to give you a bit of backstory. I started listening to Tool and A Perfect Circle in 2004. Soon after, I had a foot in the rabbit hole. I was reading every monthly Tool newsletter. And then one day in 2006, I was reading the suggested reading list on the official Tool website. One book in particular caught my eye. The book was called Prometheus Rising. I read the book. It was very interesting, but at the first I saw no connections between the book and Tool. But then a year later, on one very glorious night, the night of August 21, 2007, the night I tried LSD for my first time, I suddenly saw it all start to piece together. First I noticed something very small. There is a dot of white light in the center of all three albums. And then 11 years later, after many nights of sitting at late-night coffee shops, after hundreds of hours of researching, writing, listening, and problem-solving, I am here now to share with you my findings. This puzzle is very difficult to explain, but bear with me. We'll start with the sequence the albums were released. The entire story so far is in the same sequence the albums were released. Yes, Salival and Emotive are part of the story. The first three A Perfect Circle albums are parallel. They happen simultaneously. They branch off from Lateralis when he says spiral out. Maynard's entire story is basically a history lesson, describing the psychology of humans at every point in time. From prehistory, to the invention of language, the forming of societies, invention of religion, continental migration, and the splitting and merging of societies. Tool is the backbone of Maynard's story. To understand how the Tool albums connect to each other, first we should look at the psychology concept known as the 8 circuits of consciousness. This is the topic of the book Prometheus Rising. The 8 circuits of consciousness is a model that describes the psychological evolution of humans. It was invented by Timothy Leary. Each Tool album is a reflection of one of the 8 circuits, in the sequence that the albums are released. The following will be a brief comparison of each album to each circuit. But for a more in-depth understanding of the circuits, you should research it. The bio-survival circuit is concerned with the earliest modes of survival and the basic separation of objects into either harmful or safe. This circuit is said to have first appeared in the earliest evolution of the invertebrate brain. It is the first to be activated in an infant's mind. Leary says this circuit is stimulated by opiate drugs. This circuit introduces a one-dimensional perception, forward and backwards, example, forward towards food, nourishment and that which is trusted as safe, and backwards, away from danger and predators. It is also known as the oral bio-survival circuit. The emotional circuit is concerned with raw emotion and the separation of behavior into submissive and dominant. This circuit appeared first in vertebrate animals. In humans, it is activated when the child learns to walk. Leary associates this circuit with alcohol. This circuit introduces a second dimension, up-down, linked with territorial politics and tribal power games, for example, up as in swelling one's body in size to represent dominance, and down, as in the cowering tail between the legs submissive stance. It is also known as the anal emotional territorial circuit. The symbolic circuit is concerned with logic and symbolic thought. Leary said this circuit first appeared when hominoids started differentiating from the rest of the primates. Leary believed this circuit is stimulated by caffeine, cocaine, and other stimulants. This circuit introduces the third dimension, left and right, related to the development of dexterous movement and handling artifacts. It is also known as the dexterity symbolism circuit, or the semantic circuit. Basically, this is when humans developed symbols, numbers, and language. The domestic circuit. This circuit is concerned with operating within social networks and the transmission of culture across time. This circuit is said to have first appeared with the development of tribes. This fourth circuit deals with moral, social, sexual, tribal rules passed through generations, and is the introduction to the fourth dimension, time. It is also known as the socio-sexual circuit. The neurosomatic circuit is the first of the right brain, higher circuits which are usually inactive in most humans. It allows one to see things in multidimensional space instead of the four dimensions of Euclidean space-time, and is there to aid in the future exploration of outer space. It is said to have first appeared with the development of leisure-class civilizations around 2000 BC. It is associated with hedonism and eroticism. Leary says this circuit is stimulated by cannabis and tantric yoga, or simply by experiencing the sensation of free fall at the right time. The neuroelectric circuit is concerned with the mind becoming aware of itself independent of the patterns imprinted by the previous 5 circuits. It is also called metaprogramming or consciousness of abstracting. Leary says this circuit enables telepathic communication, and that this circuit is impossible to explain to those who have only left brain activity, and is difficult to explain to those with active fifth circuits. It is said to have appeared in 500 BC, in connection with the Silk Road. Leary associates this circuit with peyote and psilocybin. It is also known as the metaprogramming circuit. The neurogenetic circuit allows access to the genetic memory contained in DNA. It is connected to memories of past lives, the Akashic records, and the collective unconscious, and allows for essential immortality in humans. This circuit first appeared among Hindu groups in the early first millennium and later reappeared in Sufi sects at the end of the first millennium. This circuit is stimulated by LSD and Raja Yoga. It is also known as the morphogenetic circuit. The psychoatomic circuit allows access to the intergalactic consciousness that predates life in the universe, characterized as the Godhead, the Overmind, or aliens, and lets humans operate outside of space-time and the constraints of relativity. It tunes the brain into the non-local quantum communication system suggested by physicists such as Bohm, Walker, Sarfati, and Bell. Israel Regardie compared this to the Buddhist concept of Indra's nest. This circuit is associated with ketamine and DMT, by Leary. This circuit is also known as the neuroatomic circuit, or the metaphysiological circuit, or the non-local quantum circuit. Now, to see how the 8 circuits of consciousness comes into play, we're going to look at how humans' sense of time evolves through every album. In opiate, humans have no sense of time at all. I'm trying to remember when, but it makes me dizzy. Seems like I've been here before, seems so familiar. In undertow, humans begin to recognize patterns, and then seasons. You lie, cheat and steal. It took so long to remember just what happened. Even if signs seem to tell me otherwise. Tomorrow is harvest day and to them it is the Holocaust. In Enema, humans begin to keep track of the past and predict the future. 11. Lead me through each gentle step, by inch by loaded memory. 46 and 2 are just ahead of me. Some say, we'll see Armageddon soon. Salival is about the physiological effects of time on the body. Time heals, time congeals around us endless hours of wasted moments. Our body is light, we are immortal. Our body is love, we are eternal. Slide a mile 6 inches at a time on Maynard's stick. In Lateralis, humans are tracking time on astrological scales. Saturn comes back around to show you everything, gonna wait it out, there was a time that the pieces fit, embrace this moment, remember, we are eternal. In 10,000 days, humans are trying to see beyond their life. Vicariously I live while the whole world dies. Born to bear and bring to all the details of our ending. 10,000 days in the fire is long enough, you're going home. Repugnant is a creature who would squander the ability to lift a knight to heaven conscious of his fleeting time here. There is far too much to explain in just one video, so stay tuned. There are several videos already made, watch them in sequence. The next video is all about how a perfect circle fits into the scheme of things.